Welcome back, everyone, and let me tell you, we've got a huge announcement today. Was not expecting it, but we are so back. It was officially announced that IllFonic and Gun Media will be working together on an upcoming Halloween asymmetrical and single-player horror game, and I let me tell you, I know a lot of people are skeptical of Gun and even IllFonic, but I honestly have a lot of faith. As someone who has supported both Friday the 13th and TCM since each of their inceptions, even despite the bumps along the way, I do think at a core, they're both really great games. It's kind of a shame, how they ended, but for the enjoyment that I personally got out of them, I am very, very happy to hopefully have that same ability to have enjoyment again out of a Halloween game. So I kind of wanted to cover a little bit of the highlights that were mentioned in the video that you can there's not, honestly, in the announcement trailer, there's not a ton that you really learn. We kind of get the initial trailer, hear the amazing score, kind of see a little bit of what, the game might be like from just like graphic wise and everything. And yeah, there's a lot more information on the website, which is halloweengame.com. So if you want to see a little bit more things and read some of it yourself, feel free to go there and check it out. But I will be highlighting the things that at least stood out to me. And I'm going to have the trailer playing here in the background, and I'll also throw up a couple of the screenshots that you can find on the Steam wishlist page as well as in the website. Let's start off with the multiplayer stuff, which is going to be 4v1. I honestly wasn't sure what to expect from that, but I kind of like it. I'll be curious to see how it works. It seems like they kind of put an emphasis on if you are playing as the we'll call them survivors, your goal will be to call the authorities and also talk to townsfolk and get them to escape. And it kind of seems like maybe as you talk to these townsfolk, they can kind of gather and kind of just make it harder, it looks like, maybe for Michael to navigate to kill you. You can give these townsfolk weapons to, it looks like, either fight back or distract Michael, and then you yourself as a player can, it seems like, fight back as well. So it looks like they said there will be a lot of different household items around the maps that we'll be able to use. They're really taking us back to the 70s with this, and I think it looks great. Graphic wise, it looks like they are truly authentic, and that's awesome. I think Gun really does a great job with their authenticity to the IPs they work on, and I really appreciate that. IllFonic does a great job too. They've got a big list of games under their belt also. So I think really we will have something special here. Additional things with the multiplayer mode, they put an emphasis on there being dynamic map features. That obviously is great. That is a big focus for making the game more replayable, and just you if you're having a multiplayer game, you have to have some dynamicness, some randomness. You got to make it be not stale and not the same thing over and over again. So that is maybe one thing that I think maybe TCM could have done a little better, was just more dynamicness to the maps. But yeah, it looks like we're gonna have some of that here, which is awesome. There will be some lifelike NPCs, which is great. And they also said that there will be multiple maps. So I guess we don't know for sure if that will be multiple maps upon release, but nonetheless, multiple maps is huge. That is another thing that I think TCM needed more of, and so I'm really hoping they can focus on that for Halloween. IllFonic is involved. Killer Clowns launched with like 4 or 5 maps, and I think since then we've gotten 2 more, I want to say. So it looks like if it's anything like that, the more maps the merrier, in my opinion, because again, you want to increase the chances of different dynamic things, more replayability. That you have to have that for a multiplayer and asymmetrical game to succeed. So yeah, those are kind of the big things for multiplayer. They did talk about the metagame progression experience. That's all they stated. I guess we'll have to learn more about that as more details about the game come out. Now moving on to the single player mode, and I'll be honest, I did not expect a single player mode either. I am super thrilled that is going to be part of the game also. I think a lot of people would have been happy if the game was solely multiplayer. I think a lot of people would have been happy if the game was solely single player, but having both you're hitting every single person who's interested. And, you know, as long as they truly do put the love and care into both modes, then I think, you know, I think this game can really be fantastic, because not many other games, you know, we see Hellraiser is getting the new single player only game, which looks awesome. If this can be anywhere close to how good that looks, I think, you know, we're in a good spot. For the single player mode, you will play as Michael, and they said there is a focus on exploration and also replayability in the single player mode. And so that would be, you know, that's the one thing I would question for a single player mode, is like, you know, I'm kind of the type of person for a game like that, you know, normally I'd play through it once, be happy, maybe play it again, depending on, you know, if you unlocked additional routes to take in the map, or you know, different ways to give me a reason to replay. Like museum mode in TCM, I played that once, I have no reason to go back. If they can somehow change this to be either longer than, you know, just you could beat museum mode in like an hour, I would hope this single player mode is, you know, maybe 4 or 5 hour experience, maybe longer, that'd be great. Or if you make the first playthrough like 4 hours, then, you know, give people a reason. Obviously there will be some collectibles and stuff, you know, give people a reason to go back and do it again, or open new things to see or learn through that. So it seems like they really are putting an emphasis on both modes, and let's hope that holds true. Obviously there's some big names attached to it. You know, they're working with the original producers of the film, Malik and Ryan Freeman. So that is awesome. John Carpenter is involved. You know, the score, the music in the game is going to be peak. Obviously you have Halloween as one of the most iconic films of all time. I think there really is a lot to be excited about. And yeah, IllFonic is the main developer. They are also the main publisher, whereas Gun Media is the co-publisher. So for anyone who might be worried about that in our past experiences, you know, I think that having that broken down like that probably will hopefully maybe calm a couple nerves for everyone. So yeah, for the most part, that's kind of everything we have for right now. I'm excited. I'll be keeping y'all up to date as we learn more. Obviously today is day 1 of Halloween the game, so you know the game is set to release in 2026, so we'll see once we get a release date. I would imagine probably looking at a year from now, maybe 9 months to, I could see maybe like 9 to 14 months if they go for like an October release or something. It would be pushing a little over a year, but who knows, maybe they'll hit us with a July release, which I think, I want to say that's when Friday the 13th came out, but I don't know, it's been a while. So anyway, I appreciate y'all being here today and watching. If you want to see more information on the Halloween game as it comes out, please consider liking the video and subscribing, so that way you can get up to date on everything. And hope you have a good rest of your day. Talk to you later. Bye.